Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, morning. Listen, if I sound like I have a frog in my throat, I do. I do. Good morning. We got some stuff to talk about today. Okay. Y'all about to be growed real this morning. Specifically, our ladies about to be growed real. About to be growed real. It's so serious, I wasn't even gonna put no makeup on for it. It's about to be that serious. But before we get into it, I'm gonna bring my fruit up here. Hey, Pumpkin.
Hey, Ma.
Tell us why we don't see your lovely face this morning.
Well, I am getting ready for my family photo shoot. So definitely have to get my makeup on. I just finished my hair. And I'm only
Okay.
able to get this done because your grandchild is still asleep.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm just trying to get as much done as possible. I got the in-laws here too.
Yay.
So I'm just like, they went to the store. They're going to make breakfast. So if y'all hear me chewing later, you know why.
I might have to come over after. I might have to come over after.
Where's my
Shout
recent
out.
photo?
I
So y'all know
like
what I
it,
look
Pumpkin.
like.
I like it, Pumpkin. Danielle. Dani.
Thank you. Lord have mercy.
Okay, look. Before we get into it, we're going to talk about grandkids for just 1 second.
What about grandkids?
Because I was thinking about, when you called me earlier and you was telling me what, little Tink was doing. And I'm like, it's something about that. I start thinking about your mama. For those who will be listening to this that are grandparents, for the children who are the parents, please forgive us for the temporary insanity.
For the parents who are what?
No. Forgive the grandparents for the temporary insanity. So you as the parent, forgive me, the grandparent, for the temporary
insanity. Oh, because you be tripping. Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. Yes, you be tripping.
I did not understand it because, your mama, she loves all her grandkids. And I think you know that. But it was something about that first one. You know that. That first one. So I'm going to love all my grands, but it's something
if there's any more.
It's something about that first one, though.
Yeah, see.
It's something.
And y'all be letting her play y'all. That's the issue. I'm like, she be playing y'all like a harp. Just pulling all your strings. And I'm like, y'all some suckers.
That's what grands do. Because
I be looking at her, I'm like, girl, ain't nothing wrong with you.
I know. But that's what grands do. Because it's just something completely different when your child has a child. And it's like, now I get it. So for the temporary insanity my mom had when we had Rhyan Spunk Adams, who y'all listening to, who on the intro with the saxophone.
Oh, she was crazy over Rhyan?
Come on now.
How bad?
How
bad was it?
That he could do no wrong even when he was wrong. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so you're going to be on that type of energy.
That's what I'm talking about. Even when he was wrong, he wasn't wrong.
So give me an example, because I never heard these stories.
Your auntie will be able to tell you when he would do something and she would have to get on to him for whatever reason. And Mama would say, well, what did you say to him? How'd you say it? What?
Oh, no, not Mama the gangster.
Well, how'd you say it?
That's hilarious.
What? And then it was one time, I don't know if he may have been in single digits or whatever. And your auntie would tell him to do something. And then his mama would say, well, you don't have to do it like that, babe.
So that lets me know what I have to look forward to with you.
So that's what I'm saying. Forgive the grandparents for the temporary insanity that ensues.
You're going to be tripping.
Yeah, little. Okay.
See, thankfully I have YouTube as my witness. Thankfully. See, y'all have YouTube as your witness. I'm like, See, I'm going to go out here snitching on you. And they're going to be like, Miss Randolph, what you doing to your child? I saw her YouTube that she was you was out here tripping.
Yeah,
so I'm going to get you on that YouTube.
Yeah, well. Okay. So what we're about to talk about, did you see the thumbnail, Danielle?
I did not. I
Okay.
did not.
Let me see if I can pull that up real quick because I want you to see it.
Okay. Oh,
Shout
look,
out.
I was doing my eyebrows.
Shout out to Micki-Redd. Micki-Redd
Who's
is
Micki-Redd?
doing the digital marketing, digital branding. She's working the the thumbnails for me. She did
okay.
she did the banner that's in the back that you can see.
Oh, that's what's up.
Oh yeah, she doing it real big, and she's
I was
helping
wondering
me
who was
out.
doing that.
I know. See the one the one was yesterday. That was me, so you can tell the difference.
Oh no,
You can tell the difference. But the one I'm about to show you now, this is the one that she just did. I'm about to show it. This is the one she did. Can you see it?
yeah, I see it.
You see the dopeness?
Yes. Oh wait, the Dodgers, the draft. Wait, hold a second now. They done crossed. Who was out here talking about equal rights too much? That's what I need to know.
Do you see
who
what's
was out here
about
talking
to
too
crack
much?
off? It was
So is
about to
that what that
crack
was in that
off.
defense bill? Was having women be
Yes.
drafted? For
Yes.
what?
You was
Who wants to be drafted?
It was about to crack off. Y'all play too much.
What are you talking about, y'all? That's a boomer thing. Ain't no millennials in office. We would have said, heck nah.
There's some millennials in Congress. Don't play.
Man, they ain't vote for that. I ain't gotta even know. I know they ain't vote for that. That's a boomer thing. I know the boomers were trying to vote for us to be in war. I know they was.
Well, I hate to say it. We're gonna get into it well, before we get into it, I'm gonna shout out my friend El Guapo, because I have to be honest, I was kind of ignorant. I haven't been really watching the news that much because it's been depressing. But when I saw El Guapo, I'm like, what the what?
So is that in that new defense bill they were talking about?
Yes,
that got passed.
Hold on, yes, but we dodged the bullet because it got shot down.
Thank God.
But how close we were. So shout out to El Guapo for growing me real, because I have to be honest, I wasn't watching. So when I saw
it was too much going on. Yeah.
So it wasn't until I saw his video, his live, and I said, "What the what?" So I'm gonna bring my friend El Guapo up. We're gonna react to his video.
Okay, gotcha.
But we're also going to. I pulled up some articles here. Okay, so let's share the screen. My friend El Guapo. Shout out to my friend and also fellow veteran El Guapo. And before I get into his video, El Guapo is the kind of leader, retired Air Force officer, pilot type. He's the kind of officer that I would have followed, because his presence, his command authority, his countenance. Oh yeah. That's the kind of leader I would have followed. Yeah. And when you hear his voice, you'll listen. Here we go.
Oh, well, modern women, you have dodged a major bullet, and I don't think you have any idea how precarious of a position you were actually in. But I can show you better than I can tell you. So here we go.
You don't know what you're doing.
I like that intro. That's why
I see. He too fly for me.
What's good, team? Salute and salutations. Welcome to Beautiful Lies. I am your not-so-humble host, El Guapo, and I have a fantastic topic for you today. But before we get started, please take care of the administrative stuff for me. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, and share. We got to get the message out there.
Same here. Hit the like button, subscribe, share.
Modern women. Y'all almost had to sign up for selective service, which meant that you could have been drafted in the event that we had such a bad conflict, a war with another country or countries, that you would have involuntarily had to go and fight in that war. Why did that almost happen? That almost happened because of the womanist movement, this fight for equality. And I'm telling you, sometimes you can win the battle but lose the war. Let me explain to you what could have happened here if the news that I just got did not happen today. Should you be in that conflict, our population of women would have gone down. If it gets bad enough that we have to draft people, that's bad. That's bad for everybody. Think about it like this. If there were only 100 people left on this earth, and 99 of them were women, and one was a man, the population could actually kind of go on. If 99 of them were men, and only one woman, then we would be in serious trouble. We need you all. We're trying to keep you safe and protect you. I know a lot of women aren't going to want to hear this, but take it from a veteran that has actually seen people get hurt and knows people that have lost their lives, due to some of the conflicts that we do have. You don't want any part of that world. So let's take a look at what happened. All right. This could have been you, modern women. This definitely could have been you. But thank goodness today, according to Politico, lawmakers dropped proposal to add women to the draft as defense bill headaches mount. From today, December 6th at 5:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, compromise defense policy legislation set to be filed Monday will not require women to register for a military draft, according to two people with knowledge of the negotiations, a stunning turnaround after the proposal gained bipartisan support in both the House and Senate this year. Y'all almost had to get drafted.
Okay,
Leaders.
Let me stop it right there. Your thoughts so far, Dani?
It's freaking stupid. Who was up in there? So I know it was a man proposing that bill. I know it was. I know it was a freaking man. No. Oh my God.
I mean, I don't know, but I'm not gonna say it was.
I ain't got no nothing. I know it was a man. It was probably over 50.
Listen, but it had bipartisan support. Bipartisan support. But guess who got it?
Who approved that foolishness?
Guess who shot it down though? Thankfully,
who?
The Republicans.
Oh, thank God. So the Democrats were really suggesting this foolishness? Are you? Oh, hell. Sorry. Excuse me.
Okay, listen, y'all. I don't think... ladies, I want you to think about something. If you have applied for a job before I do that, in 2003, I was on active duty at the San Diego Military Entrance Processing Station. Good morning, Mrs. Carrington. Good morning. At the Military Entrance Processing Station as an officer, and I emceed and helped coordinate a celebration of the 30th anniversary of the all-volunteer force, meaning the 30th anniversary of the draft being gone, that it was an all-volunteer force. I coordinated the celebration at my duty station, and I emceed it to talk about the fact that the draft was no more, and that for the 30 years, we had an all-military force, all-volunteer military force. Now, ladies, I'm talking to you now. How many of you have applied for a job in the past several years, in the last 30? Have you paid attention, and I bet you haven't, that there's a question on there, are you a male and required to sign for the selective service? That was an easy no or easy not applicable. Never even thought about it, did you? It was a guarantee, no bueno. Didn't apply to me. It almost did. It almost did.
I need to look up who proposed this foolishness. That's what I need to know.
You're not gonna know who the originator of the bill. I doubt that. But
TikTok know everything.
You almost did. You almost,
sick of this foolishness.
Because again, without even thinking about it, over the past 30 plus years, check off a box. It don't apply to me.
Because it shouldn't. I mean, the draft to begin with is stupid from the jump. But it's like,
it was stupid, but it was necessary.
Yeah, I get. I mean, I know you're a vet, so I get it's different for me.
No. It was stupid but it was necessary because no one was volunteering, and who gonna fight the wars if somebody come over here? So it was stupid, but it's necessary, and that's why the all volunteer force and the ending of the draft was a big thing, because men and women, but for the first part, for a long time, it was just men were volunteering to go, so there was no need for a draft.
So they brought the draft back?
No, not yet.
Oh.
So the selective service is this. When you click that box, if you're between the ages of 18 and 25, if a draft was instituted and you had to be called to war, that's what the registering for the selective service is.
Oh, so you register for it. It's not required for you to.
No.
I see.
But if you were male, you had to register. It don't mean that you be drafted, but you had to register. So if ever there was a draft, that's how your number will be called.
Oh, heck nah, bro. Leave that stuff in the 60s. I ain't got time for that.
And here's the thing. It's a possibility if the draft could happen again. Why? Because the numbers of men and women volunteering has decreased significantly.
I understand why.
So the problem is the draft may come back, and the only reason it would be come back is if we have been called to war, we are in a combat situation, and there are not enough people. But the thing was, in the past, it would only apply to men. But what almost happened with the selective service, if we would have had to register for the selective service and a draft was later instituted, it would apply to men and women.
Stupid.
Let me look at some comments here. Listen. And hey, you're married to thank y'all for your service. I hear some squishing, Danielle.
That's me. I'm pumping.
Oh.
Can't help that. It is what it is.
The newfangled pumping. Okay, got it. I'm in the military. Y'all know that. I was in the reserves and active duty, enlisted Army, commissioned Navy. I did it. I volunteered to do it so my daughter wouldn't have to. What I mean by that, I volunteered to do it so she'd have more choices available to her. If she would have wanted to do it, that would be her. But I did it to afford her more opportunities so she wouldn't have to do it. Listen. Yeah. Oh, to give financial aid for school? Whoa, that's deep. You see that, Danielle?
I saw that in the comment. That's unfortunate. I can't believe they make him do that. I didn't know that was a thing.
So let's listen some more, shall we?
Of the House and Senate Armed Services Committees left the provision out of the final version, meaning all of the versions up to this point. Y'all were going to have to sign up for selective service. Left the provision out of the final version of the National Defense Authorization Act, despite the fact that both chambers' bills would have expanded the selective service system beyond men. Well, I really really don't think you have any idea how bad that would have been. And it's easy to have your position and your points if you haven't really paid the price for them. Now, I know that there are going to be a lot of people that say, El Guapo, we paid the price. We fought for our rights and our independence and stuff like that. But you fought in a safe environment where really no physical harm is going to come to you. When you have to go to these other countries and fight, let me tell you, when I was 19 years old, I got deployed to the Middle East. I was scared to freaking death, and rightfully so. Forget the simple fact that there were people over there that didn't like me just because I was an American. I had to shake my boots every morning. Shake the boots, tap the heels together to make sure there weren't scorpions in them. I had to be careful where I stepped in the shower living in a tent city because there were venomous snakes everywhere. I had a fellow airman that had gotten bit by I believe it was a camel spider, and took a chunk out of their leg about this big. They ended up getting medicaled home, and they had permanent nerve damage and everything. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And why am I harping on this point?
Okay, let me stop it for a second. Are y'all seeing this? Okay. Do you see y'all? Okay, let me put a 1 in the chat if you know what a camel spider is, what it looks like. Because I'm about to show you. Danielle, hold on to your pearls. Put a 1 in the chat if you know what a camel spider looks like.
It just sounds big. The name camel just lets you know it's huge. I don't want to see it. I don't need that threat in my life.
Y'all need to quit playing.
I mean,
don't look, Danielle.
I'm not looking.
I'll tell you when the coast is clear.
Okay, cool. Let me just move my phone away from my view.
Do y'all see this? Do you see this? Do you see this big ass thing?
Yeah, let me know it's big if you cussing.
Then you look at it.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't need that negativity in my life. I don't need it. I'm gonna stay focused on my eyeshadow. That's what I'm gonna look at.
Do you see this? So when El Guapo says it took a big ass chunk, do you see how? On the strength? Listen.
I mean, and just forget nature alone. Like, women in a lot of countries are of lesser value than men. Like legit, they don't care about you. They will legit drag you through the street like you're a dog.
Let me tell you something. Hold that thought. How many of you have seen the movie Black Hawk Down? Put a 1 in the chat. How many of you have seen the movie Black Hawk Down? It's based on a true story. What happened? What happened in Somalia? I watched it with Mr. Randolph. My husband is not a veteran. The most he knew about military veteran stuff is since he's been with me. Mr. Randolph watched that movie in utter silence. Couldn't believe it. Mind you, this is based on, and everybody that was in that campaign volunteered. El Guapo, he volunteered. And you heard him say he was scared out of his freaking mind. And these are volunteers. Your godfather, Danielle, was over in Somalia during the time of that movie Black Hawk Down.
No, what is Black Hawk Down about? What is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm yelling.
Yes. Keep telling you, you just ignore me. I'm like, what is it about? Like, I don't
Okay.
know what this is about.
There was the military, particularly the Marines, I think, had to go over to Somalia as an a peacekeeping effort because I can't remember exactly, but basically the government I think had been overthrown, so the military troops had gone over to Somalia in a peacekeeping effort. What happened in the midst of them, the helicopter going, which was a Black Hawk, it got shot down.
Oh,
So
dang.
they had to, the Marines had to try to, to survive. But like El Guapo was saying, because on the strength that they were Americans, it was, it didn't end well. The violence, the depravity, you talking about dragging through the streets. They did all that.
Yeah, man. Like, and again, and these were men. It would have been even worse for women.
You need to understand. And listen
Like,
up, ladies.
women are like legit gang raped and then shot. Like, it's not a thing of where it's like, oh no, we're fine because we're in America. It's equal rights. America is an anomaly. Women are not treated the same in every country, which is a reason why there's certain countries I would not ever travel to without my husband. Ever.
Listen up. And if y'all anybody who hasn't seen that movie, I think you should. If for no other reason than to pay respect to the sacrifices that these men and women, but primarily men, and see, it's not even about women being in the military, because women obviously have joined voluntarily. But that's the word, voluntarily.
Voluntarily. It's not been forced upon you.
And even the women who have served voluntarily, they have paid the price, with whether it be their lives, whether it be their physical health, their mental health. They have been assaulted, like my daughter has talked about. So listen, this ain't no game. Let me go play some. Let's play some. See what El Guapo's talking about here. And he makes a very good point. Fighting for rights. This is a safe environment over here. Y'all play too much.
Yeah, like I said, and again, it's different. Like, again, it's like levels to this. Like, being a Black woman in the military is basically having a sitting target on your head everywhere you go, and it's even worse when you leave the country. It's already bad enough here.
You can't hear us?
Oh no, am I?
Okay,
so.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh man.
Come back to us. Well, let's hear what El Guapo is saying some more.
Because it seems like it's over, right? It seems like you all are good to go. But I have 3 daughters. I've told you this before. They're 12, 10, and 7. And I would have been abundantly pissed off at you modernist, womanist women if my 3 daughters would have had to sign up for selective service and had even the slightest potential of being drafted in the military, whether they wanted to or not. I'm telling you right now, ladies, at this point, it's a Pyrrhic victory. Go back. I'll put a card up. Go back and watch my video on Pyrrhic victories, okay? Sometimes you can win the battle and lose the war. I'm serious. You all really, really need to understand that at this point, your movement has become literally dangerous and life-threatening, because this is the reality of being in the military in peacetime. And I know the vast majority of women don't want this as their day-to-day. So at this point, maybe you need to abort mission. Maybe you should let off the throttle a little bit. You know what? Screw that. Maybe you need to eject from this movement completely. Throw in the damn towel. honestly, women, it's over. And here's what pisses me off the most about this whole topic. What pisses me off the absolute most is the fact that the women that have been fighting this for decades are too old to even have to deal with the consequences of this equality thing.
Okay, listen.
I told you it was somebody old. I told you that because millennials, we got enough problems. We trying to fight 2 crises, deal with a pandemic. Why in the HE double hockey sticks would we say, yeah, let's put a draft in there, just mix it up a little bit? Like, that wasn't us.
I guarantee you that at the time that these trailblazers, if you will, were fighting for this, they didn't even consider this.
No,
even when they was in their prime,
you just don't do. Like,
even in their prime, they never even considered the possibility of wanting to be included in the selective service. I'm willing to bet you
to be included in this foolishness. Like, again, it's some old white people. Like, yeah, let's just mix it up again. I'm like, the hell? Keep that stuff to yourself.
I'm willing to betcha, because I've looked at some of the clips from the feminist movement back in the 70s, etc. And again, what they were fighting for was the opportunity to work outside the home and have different areas of the profession open to them. You know, white collar.
That's reasonable. That's fine. Like, and I'm still all for equal pay. I'm not against all these things, but there's a line that shouldn't be crossed, and this is one of them.
Did you hear El Guapo say eject? Abort mission. Abort.
No, seriously, bro. Like, I was in Marine Corps boot camp as a kid. I don't want no part of this.
Okay, listen. Since you brought it up, I got to go ahead and share.
Of course you do.
Okay. When Dani was living with her dad, because her father is a former Army infantry cavalry scout, hardcore himself. So when Dani was living with him, I guess it was called Young Marines, right? So you had to be 11.
No, I was like 12 because I was in middle school.
Okay, so I guess they did their exercises on weekends or something. Tell about it, Danielle.
It was absolute hell. That's what it was. Hell sent by Satan. That's what it was. It was legit hell.
What did y'all have to do?
It had to do, like, live outside and all this crap, eat MREs, do workouts. Like, I'm out here trying to go into the draft, and I'm like, I'm 12, bruh. Like, I'm just trying to make it. Like, again, the crap that made me mad, I still remember to this day how I know my dad was full of crap. He was like, thinking I was boy crazy, but then you sign me up for a military boot camp that's nothing but boys. I'm like, how does that make any sense? Like, it makes no logical sense. Like, you want to say I'm boyfriend? I ain't have a little boyfriend yet. And I'm like, you just wanted me out the house. That's all that was. You wasn't slick.
Okay, listen. She called me one time because she was in California. I was in Virginia, and she was telling me about, the weekend she had to do her weekend or whatever. They had me running everywhere. I had to do push downs. I said, what are push downs? Well, it was supposed to be a push up, but I could only push down.
You'll never forget that.
That was hilarious to me. It was supposed to be push ups, but I could only push down.
Never forgot that.
And never will. and never will. Okay? Okay. Deborah Desmore says, shaking my head, crazy how these women want to have equal rights or really don't want equal rights. Only when it fits their narrative. Just making sounds like, okay. With no substance. Gotcha. But you know what, though? Sometimes you can ask for something and not really sure what you're asking for.
Because people have no discernment. That's why.
Because
Sorry,
I
I
would
get
say
sick of this.
back in my younger days, college and stuff, and it's easy to ask for stuff when you think that nothing can touch you. Because I remember, being on the campus of the University of Oklahoma and, saying what, we should be able to do as females and as women, blah, blah, but never considering the fact what that could really mean.
Yeah, man.
Just
Like I said,
thinking that, okay, never even considering the fact that equal rights, equal, across the board means, okay, your behind got to sign up for the selective. Never even considered it. Never even thought at all.
like I
Never
said, I'm
crossed
not
my
someone
military
who's
mind.
I'm not someone who's against equal stuff. I'm not saying that, but it's like there's certain things that are really just meant for men. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Call me old fashioned, call me anti-feminist. You can do that if that makes you feel better about yourself. But I just understand there's certain things that obviously physically women can do that men can't. Like obviously give birth. There is no way to fabricate that ever. You can't do it. And there's certain things that women just shouldn't do for that reason. Like, because I told Kevon it didn't make any sense if I'm having multiple kids for me to be the only one working. Why? I'm their food source. That makes no freaking sense. It wasn't created to be like that. But everybody want to go off and do everything that a man can do. I can do no. Keep my butt at home. I ain't trying to do all that.
Uncle Stu said my daughter tried it and never went back to military school. After 1 month, she quit.
Man, about that, man. I was over it. I said, forget this. This for the streets. This ain't for me. I will not ever.
And here's the thing, though. I got to go ahead and say it. One of my favorite movies is G.I. Jane. I'm just saying. It is. And see, but again, the key thing, I volunteered to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One of my good girlfriends, airborne, air assault, jumping out of helicopters, shoot, move. But the thing is, she volunteered to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Volunteered to do it. Here she is. Shout out to Moments with Micki-Redd. This is the young lady who did the thumbnail, who did our backdrop. Shout out.
Hey.
Hey. Private Benjamin. Okay. But G.I. Jane is one of my favorite movies. And she has something to prove. It's a fictional story. And there are some women who do. But the difference is voluntarily. Don't make everybody do it because you feel like you can. What's wrong with you?
Basically. Because I ain't for that. No, you can keep that over there.
You're going to make everybody, and listen, I'm just going to keep it 1,000 wow. Shout out to Chicago Rilla. Many of the women, let's put it out there, Caucasian women.
Heck yeah.
They wouldn't be going. They fighting for stuff that's something they never considered would apply to them because they don't want no parts of that.
Nah, I be like, y'all niggas tripping. Y'all just be in the room bored with your little tea parties. Like, you know what, Mary? It'd be so nice if we could. Keep that over there.
Y'all don't want no. But see, and what they don't consider though is this. Maybe it wouldn't apply to them, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. Many of these political figures on the male and female side, they doing bills that'll apply to our sons and our daughters, but never would apply to theirs.
Exactly. We're gonna be gone.
Because they have the money to keep it from happening.
I see.
Case in point, Donald Trump.
Facts.
Donald Trump, his father sent him someplace else.
Yep. Can't get
so
to him.
Even the conservative or a liberal, they voting on stuff that would never apply to their own kids because they have the resources to ensure that it don't apply to their own kids. Let's just be clear about that.
We pay, the Congress alone gets paid dumb salaries, which I think is a problem.
Well,
But,
most of the
that's
people
just a
in Congress,
millennial in me.
not all of them, but most of them had money anyway before they became congressmen and women. Many of them. Yeah, some of them came up, but many of them already had coinage. Let me see what we got here.
Oh, doing makeup mod takes forever.
Remember the senator who was a real life fighter pilot and lost his legs doing? Yes. But the common denominator here, ladies and gentlemen, even the price he sacrificed, he did it voluntarily.
Exactly.
We're not even going to talk about the relatives and the male relatives of mine who were drafted to Vietnam. My stepfather, both the men, my stepfather and his brother were drafted. But because my Uncle Eddie had to go to Vietnam, they did not have two sons in combat. So my stepfather had an administrative job in military intelligence while my uncle went over to Vietnam. My father didn't have to be drafted because he was the only child.
Oh, thank God I'm the only child. Jesus.
But here's the thing: if that would have happened, it may not have affected my father, but it affected he would have affected his daughter. It affected his sons because my brothers, they had to.
Got multiple.
Well, no. Even before this, because during the ages of 18 and 25, they had to sign up for the selective service. So if a draft was reinstituted, they would be called up. So even if it wouldn't apply to my father, it still applied to his sons. He wouldn't have wanted to apply to his daughter too.
I see. Yeah. Big facts.
I'm not fit for the military at all. Listen, Danielle said,
nope.
She knew from early on she didn't want no parts of it.
Not a
yes,
part.
Old money.
Not an inkling, nothing. I was good. I ain't need this stress in my life.
Micki-Redd said her dad did 3 tours in Vietnam.
My God.
Listen, and I'm gonna tell y'all
breed.
Not only that, the men that came back from Vietnam, they did not have the veterans' resources that are available now. They weren't getting compensated for their injuries, physical or mental.
Yep.
So, but again, that was a draft then. We're talking about what's happening now is all volunteer force.
Yeah. And that's again, it's just like, I think some people just be like, let's just mix up the pot. I'd be like, because it don't make no sense, the stuff they be wanting to do. I'm like, somebody just got to be bored up there. You just got to be bored. Like, why would you volunteer this foolishness? Like, you just got to be bored. Like, you just...
Like I said, because they know it ain't going to apply to none of their offspring. Like, it's easy to play Russian roulette with somebody else's life. I'm just going to say.
That's why millennials need to be in office, because we got sense.
And
we emotional about our avocado toast, but we know what not to do.
And here's the thing. I understand that there is a need for the selective service. Should we find ourselves in a situation where there are not enough volunteers, but men, like you said, men are designed for certain things. We women are not.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go back to just the origination of life. There's a reason men were created to hunt and women were created to feed and created to shelter children. Like, it's biologically predisposed to us. Like, it's like you could say, oh no, that's so old school, that's prehistoric. I'm like, it's in our freaking biology, man. You don't see women, like, I'm not talking about just, I know there's animals that do, but it's like, for humans, you don't see that.
I know I'm yelling, but I'm I'm fired up. I told y'all was about to be growed real this morning. I told
No,
you.
girl, it's real, girl. Them old head boomers in there. Millennials agree.
But
We don't want
there's
no smoke.
some Xers in here, you know.
I say millennials don't want none of this smoke. I don't know who that. I'm
Somebody
talking about
wrote.
modern.
Let me find it. Somebody said who? I think it was. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here she go. Miss Creator said, "Us millennials are too entitled for a draft."
Big facts. Big facts. You understand me? I've suffered enough. We good. We good around these parts. Okay. We real good.
She said, y'all too entitled. Straight
Absolutely,
up,
and I shall claim it for all millennials. You right. We entitled to not want to suffer no more. We suffered enough. We surely have. I'm good.
Okay,
I feel no
Micki
shame
said,
about it.
I said no then, but if I knew what I know now, I would have enlisted. I mean, I would have listened to my daddy and went into the Air Force. I would be retired with a fat check by 40. This is true. Before 40. That's true. But the thing is, and I want y'all to understand something. Let's talk about the draft for a minute. There are many men who were drafted. Like Mickey's father said, if you're going to go into the military, you go into the Air Force. Why? Because you were drafted into the Army, I believe. Air Force is going to see something different than Army foes. Now, it may be a little bit different now with the technology. Okay. And even still, some men said, I don't want my daughter to go into any form of the military. Period. Point blank, period.
And I don't blame them.
She said, baby, I would have been somewhere broke down, cried. Listen.
Okay, you would have found me in a hole somewhere, hiding the whole war. Whole war. You wouldn't found me. You're gone in the woods somewhere. Bump that. You're gonna have to. I would be immediately dishonorably discharged. Immediately. I don't follow direction. I don't follow orders. Discharge me. Get me out. I don't take no offense to that. Okay. I've been fired. Bye. Like, I ain't gonna be mad about nothing.
And see, I want y'all to understand, and I'm speaking in general terms, the fact that women and millennials and the fact that you all can have these perspectives is because somebody else paid for it.
Fact.
Men and some women, but the women volunteered and so did the men. But before there was a volunteer force, men paid for it. By virtue of the fact that you can choose and decide, a man paid for that.
Indeed, paid for by his life.
Or his mental sanity. Or his. And again, honey, I loved my time in the military. I loved shooting weapons. I didn't like going through the obstacle courses. But I love shooting weapons. I loved the culture of it. But again, I volunteered. No one made me. And that's what we're talking about here. And I hate to compare it to marriage, but my daughter said, women say they want to be married, but they don't know what they're asking for.
They do not.
You say you want equal rights, but do you really know what you're asking for? I'm okay with a double standard to a certain degree. I am. I'm just going to keep it 1,000 wow.
Like I said, the only thing I cared about being equal was equal pay and the equal right to vote. That's about it. I don't like. There's certain
and
sectors I'm cool with never being in.
Yes, if you're doing the same job,
equal
under
pay.
the same standards, absolutely.
Like, and that's what I'm for.
And I will say the military does that because no matter what your grade is, if you're a female or a male, if you have the same job and you've been in the same amount of time, you get the same pay.
And that's legit. All I care about is just equal pay for, like, if you're doing the same job, like you said. But, like, there's certain sectors, I'm cool if I don't break into those. That's fine with me. Like,
Listen,
I'm cool.
Hood Handyman said, I'm 54-year-old Air Force vet. I needed to escape my environment. Best decision I ever made. Did 4 years in discharge. 31 years working same job. Retired. Okay, listen. But again,
it was your choice.
It was your choice. And a lot of times back in the day when it was the draft, you had the option. Well, I don't even know if it was a draft. If you found yourself in trouble and you went before the judge, you had the option to either go to jail or go to the Army.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Back in the day, you had you would go before the judge, and either you could go to jail, do your time, or you would go to the Army. And in some cases, those who went to the Army, it was the best thing that ever happened to them. And some things, it wasn't. So again, like I said, by virtue of the fact that we are able to even have these conversations, a man paid for that.
Yeah, because, like, I was watching this comedy special, Ma. You got to see it. It's like, it's so inappropriate, but it's really, really funny. So I forgot. I think it was on Netflix, called Paper Tiger, or whatever. I can't remember the comedian's name, but this joke that he had, I couldn't agree with more, because he was basically talking about, he's like, these feminists are literally idiots. And he said, let me explain why. He said, because, one day we're going to have a woman president, right? And women are going to just be happy because they won't even care what platform she's for. They're just going to be happy it's a woman. But, the second we have a first, husband, they're going to treat him like he don't matter. Like, shut up. This isn't your time. Da, 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 da. Don't crowd her. But when we have a first lady, we let her have rights. Let her do what she want to do. He's like, first lady is not a job. There's no pay with this. He's like, you're just supposed to stand there and look pretty. That's your job. And I'm like,
wow.
Oh, that's really true, though, because that's exactly what's going to happen. That's an interesting
perspective. Yes,
that's exactly what's going to happen. Like, as soon as we get a first husband, they're going to be like, why you need to take away from her shine? This is her time. What all the feminists, but when it's a first lady like Michelle Obama, we're like, oh, yes, sis, do what you need to do. And it's like, the double standard.
You got a point, little girl.
And that was hilarious how he was like, you got to see it. Like, it was so funny.
Wow, that is
he was saying, like, this is how you know it's not a job. He said Michelle Obama came out looking younger. Obama came out looking like a 70-year-old man, but came in looking like he was 41.
Okay, the gray hairs were real.
And I was
get
like,
some Grecian formula. The gray, and exactly, you're right. Because
I was like, daggone.
Miss Obama, she was like, hey, see me, love me, absolutely.
Okay, because I was rolling. I said, this is hilarious. Because until he said it, I'm like, I never thought about it like that, but he's not wrong.
He's not. He's not.
Like, first lady isn't a job. Like, it's
not. Micki-Redd said, that's why I have so much respect for our military and those who have sacrificed so much for us. I have many uncles and cousins who have served okay. And again, straight up, no chaser. We shout out the veterans. If I see, and listen, I don't care. Listen, I don't care if you Republican or Democrat. If I see you have some type of something, a hat on or whatever, sir, ma'am, thank you for your service. Because the bottom line up front, when you are doing what you have to do, no one is going to stop to ask you if you're Republican or Democrat. You better get out of here with that foolishness.
Nope.
You better get out of here.
You served.
Well, okay, so here, that was a drop the mic moment there. It was. Hood Handyman, I graduated from Thomas Edison High School in Philadelphia. My school had the most men die in Vietnam, mostly drafted. Look.
Dang. That's sad.
So I'm not saying I don't understand the need for a selective service. I do. Because at some point, somebody gonna bring something to us like they have already. So should we find ourselves in the need and we don't have enough volunteers, there's a need for a draft. But women, do you really want to be part of that? I know I don't.
Nope.
I want to have the choice. And that's what we're talking. That's what, like El Guapo said, stop it, abort mission, eject. I want to have the choice to join or not.
Not be told to.
That's what I'm, that's the kind of, I want to have the choice to be able to join. And we have that. We don't realize when we're ahead. I'm just saying.
Indeed,
okay.
indeed.
Micki-Redd said, as an Army brat, I understand what y'all have sacrificed for our country and freedoms. Thank you, babe.
Indeed.
Kamala Harris' husband ain't go get no love as the first husband. Ooh,
nope. Show ain't. And I said, I hate to say it. Like when that comedian said that, I said, dadgum, he right.
Yikes.
I was like,
yikes.
I can already see it now. Like, God help us if, Kamala Harris run and then she the first president, bruh, it's over for her husband. Absolutely.
You said bruh.
Absolutely over.
You said bruh.
It's over, man. It's over. Them feminists gonna come down his throat so quick on Twitter.
They'd be like, what we meant was. What we meant was, and here's the thing, check it out. If it would have passed and we would have had to side, or not me, but see, here's the thing. I'd be like El Guapo's talking about his daughters. I'm talking about my granddaughter. I'd be mad as hell.
Oh, she's just gonna be an only child. Call that a day.
But again, let's talk about my grandbabies through my hubby. They're two of them.
Yeah.
I'd be mad as hell. He'd be mad as hell. We ain't
think about it. Like, they would have to make accommodations. Because what if all the women are pregnant? Well, you just gonna let a pregnant woman go to war? Like, again, stuff that men don't have to think about.
And even when I volunteered to go on active duty with Danielle, I had to have Mama to sign that, that she would take care of you, because being a parent was no excuse not to be where you needed to be.
Yep.
So basically, I had to kind of have her as my guardian, or Danielle's guardian,
just in case.
And
it's like, women, do you really want to think about that?
Y'all play too much.
You're not between 18 to 25. You're not going to have to sign up for selective service, but the next generation of young women might have to. So maybe you need to shut the hell up. How about that? How about you let it go? Let it go. You are the most privileged and most equal set of women ever to walk the face of the earth. Right here, right now. Stop. Your powers and your femininity. There is nothing over here in masculinity for you. I've told you this before. Let me tell you something. I can remember going through combat survival training. And when I did, we had this thing called Ranger Buddies. Okay. So we broke up into teams of 3. All right. So imagine you're out in the woods, in the forest, and you're behind enemy lines, and you get separated from your 2 Ranger buddies. And you come across some aggressors, some enemies, okay? And there's 3 of them and 1 of you, and you all have knives. What are you going to do? Here's the answer. You take 1 out so that your 2 Ranger buddies behind you have a chance to survive in a fair 2-on-2 battle. That's what you do. But women, are you prepared to do something like that? I honestly don't think that you are. I honestly don't think that you want this life. And I honestly don't think that these young women are riding with y'all. So young ladies, you really need to be vocal and say, hey, I'm cool with it, like who you are. I'm cool with being a lady. I'm cool with being a woman.
Okay, that's what you just said, Danielle.
Hello. I'm cool. I'll sit right over here and make some dinner. I'll sit over here.
And Guapo said, I don't think these young ladies are riding with y'all.
They not. They gonna leave you over there, brother. Like, okay, we not for this. We suffered enough. You hear me? We can't buy no house. We in student loan debt. What we need the military for on top of that? We don't need none of this smoke. We don't need not an ounce of it. We good over here.
And I said, they ain't riding with y'all.
We not. We looking at you like,
and y'all like, quit playing with my life.
Basically, like I said, I'm past 25, thank God, but still, we not.
You a mother of a daughter.
Exactly, and they want to be stupid. She's gonna be an only child. I ain't doing this.
And again, it's enough for us to know and accept that our sons must sign up for the selective service. But again, that's part of the hunter, the gatherer, the protector. We not happy with it, but we understand it. But now you want to put our daughters in that too? Y'all play too damn much. Let's finish.
And I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback and a lot of flack on this, but I'm saying this in defense of my daughters as a dad who cares, whose primary job is to protect them. Y'all are out of pocket. This is way too much, and it's gotten far, far, far out of hand. So I hope that you all turn the corner and kind of let off of this whole womanist agenda, because at this point, it's not doing nothing to help anybody. All it's doing is damaging. That's all I got. I appreciate your time.
Okay. El Guapo, he growing people real. And he right.
Mad, and I don't blame him. I'd be pissed too if I had multiple children. Pocket. You don't want to play these games. Like, get out of here. It's foolishness.
So I'm gonna bring up too, just a real quick and read some of it.
Read some of what?
Read some of this, the article here, and this is what El Guapo is talking about. This is a military.com. Women will not have to sign up for a potential draft anytime soon after an effort to add them to the selective service system was dropped from a sweeping defense bill. A congressional aide confirmed to military.com that a provision that would have required women to register for the draft will not be in the compromised version of the National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, that is expected to be released later Tuesday. The outcome, which was first reported by Politico, comes as a surprise, since the provision was included in both the House and Senate versions of the NDAA and had bipartisan support. So it was supported by both sides.
All heads, bro, I'm trying to tell you.
The United States has not instituted a draft since the Vietnam War, and military officials repeatedly have said they have no intention of moving away from an all-volunteer force. But
exactly, there's that but in there.
Men ages 18 through 25 still must register with what's officially called the Selective Service System, or face consequences such as losing access to federal financial aid for college. I think somebody just said that earlier. I think he said it.
Yeah, he said it. Yeah, he had to register.
Momentum has been growing to make women register since 2015, when all combat jobs were opened to them, rendering moot the previous rationale for excluding them from the draft. So here, this is what we're talking about. 2015, all combat jobs were open to women. Prior to 2015, women could not be in infantry. Women could not be in certain... No.
I didn't know that.
So now, and that's one of the reasons why women were excluded from the selective service, because we weren't allowed to go into combat areas of combat jobs. But they're saying here because the when all combat jobs were open to them, rendering moot the previous rationale from excluding them for the draft. So what they're saying is, since women now have access and can be included in combat fields, combat jobs, they should be eligible to be considered for the selective service. Y'all play too much. So
I play
in
way too much.
July, the Senate Armed Services Committee voted 21 to 5 to add women to the draft registration system, which is the selective service system, with 7 Republicans among the yes votes. The House Armed Services Committee approved the change in September in a 35 to 24 vote, with 4 Republicans supporting it.
Yeah, you're tripping.
The committee approval came after a congressionally mandated commission last year recommended draft registration be expanded to include women, calling it a quote unquote necessary and fair step. Get the hell out of here.
Bump that.
But
keep that fairness over there.
But a small vocal group of conservatives who adamantly opposed to making women register and threatened to vote against the NDAA as a whole if the final bill included the provision to include words draft our daughters. Get the hell out of here. So I want y'all to understand it. And you might be right, Danielle. It may have been the millennials, the young millennials in Congress who were the vocal voices. I don't know.
Because we don't want no parts, man. We can't buy no houses. We
draft
ain't
our
student
daughters.
loan debt.
Look at that shit. I mean, sorry.
Like, God cussing, man. Get yourself
together.
Sorry.
I need to get myself together. Okay, so Senator Josh Hawley, Republican, is that Missouri? A potential 2024 presidential candidate who led the charge against the provision in the Senate, responded to reports that it is being removed from the compromised NDAA by saying he certainly hopes that is the case.
Again, this is all extremely stupid.
If it is not, then I will keep fighting for a vote on the Senate floor to strip this wrong and misguided provision out of the final bill, he added in a statement. I know, I'm getting carried away, Mrs. Creative. I know.
What?
Because I'm cursing.
Yeah, you're getting out of pocket.
Okay, so you use it, Guapo, you get out of pocket.
Yes, calm down. I get you. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm annoyed too, but just keep it cute.
Okay. I'll keep it cute.
Keep it cute. Keep it classy.
We need some young, vibrant people in office in the House. Some of these seasoned people, this is true, and enjoy their grandbabies in retirement. You're right.
I told you, them old people need to get out. I told you, they bored. They over here twiddling their little thumbs. They ain't got nothing to do. So like, yeah, let's stir the pot. Let's add some of these young whippersnappers in there. Because, they ain't doing nothing no way. They just lazy. Get them out of here. That's why they need to have a limit on how long people can be in Congress.
I would agree. So I want to know who voted that way. And again, okay, so let me continue reading. If not, then I will keep fighting for a vote on the Senate floor to strip this wrong and misguided provision out of the final bill, he added in a statement. Earlier this year, the Supreme Court declined to take up the case challenging constitutionality of an all-male draft, citing the expectation that Congress soon would act on the issue. But 3 justices indicated the court could be open to revisiting the issue if Congress failed to act. It remains to be seen, of course, whether Congress will end gender-based registration under the Military Selective Service Act. But at least for now, the court's long-standing deference to Congress on matters of national defense and military affairs cautions against granting review of while Congress actively weighs on the issue. This is what the Supreme Court was saying. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who was joined by Justices Breyer and Kavanaugh, wrote in the June statement. Okay. Listen, it's too much. It's just too much. So that's all I have on that. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And again, shout out to El Guapo, because I hadn't been clued into, one moment. I hadn't been clued in until I saw his his broadcast. And I'm like, what? I'm like, this is bananas. This is absolutely bananas.
Oh, well, I finished my makeup. I just got my hair to do.
So I'm going to go ahead and open the line for a few minutes. Shout out. Hey. Thank you. Make sure we get the likes up, people. Make sure we get the likes up. I'm going to go ahead and open it for a few minutes. If anybody wants to come in and talk and share their thoughts on this. Because it's serious. I mean, you know, I was shocked. I'm just going to be honest. I was freaking shocked.
I mean, I'm shocked by the fact that they legit took this and put it as a proposal. That's what I'm shocked about. I mean, they be having dumb ideas, but the fact that there was nobody else, and they're like, nah, this is stupid, y'all. Let's take this out of here. They were little and like, no, let's add it. Draft our daughters. Like, you don't get this trash out of here.
Hood Heady Man said, I don't see anything wrong with including women. I do. You know, I do.
He being sarcastic. Sarcastic.
I'm with El Guapo. You know, we need to know when we ahead. I mean, again, El Guapo said abort. We need to recognize when we winning. We winning.
People take that equal rights thing and put it too extreme. Like, my only thing is equal pay for the same job and equal votes for the same vote. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not trying to be out here like, oh yeah, give me, you know, the strength of a man because I want to be able to lift things. That's stupid.
I'm going to tell you, I was never with women going into combat arms. I'm just going to be honest. I was cool.
So that says something.
I was cool with being in the rear with the gear. I'm just saying.
Good.
Because you know, all occupations need support services. And I was cool with being in support services in the Army and the Navy. Yep. I was cool with it.
Nothing wrong with it. Like, everybody I don't get the whole, I just want to do what a man does. Why? What does that do for you? I don't get the attraction, the attractiveness of that. I really just don't get it. Like, I don't get why that's fun. Like, I have no desire to do anything that a man does. I have a desire to do what I like to do.
And this is and see, here's the thing, Blaze Brown. Shout out to your niece. You know, hey, Navy captain. All right. I salute. And I'm going to tell you, it gave me tremendous, and my daughter can attest to it. It gave me tremendous pride to serve in the military and also as a military officer. I took that crap seriously. I did. The thing is, though, I volunteered for it. So
that's the whole point of this. It's like, it's not that we're saying that women can't be in the military. It's that the women who have been in the military weren't forced to be in the military. Like, that's the major difference. It's like, it's nothing to do with saying women ain't fit to be in the military. No, I don't believe that at all. I know people who've been in the military. I mean, obviously you and other people. Like, I don't have a problem with them being in the military, but it's just like, don't force the rest of us who have nothing, want nothing to do with it to be in there, because there's women who are just not made for that. Like, legit. I mean, I think the draft in general is freaking stupid, but it's like for women, there's a reason why in the older years, the women stayed at home with the kids. There's a reason for that, because someone has to be home. If both parents can be drafted, what happens to the kids?
And a good point. Check this out. There were those when I was on active duty, there were dual military households. The mother was in the military, was in the army, the father was in the army. So when it came time for deployments, they had to alternate because both could be deployed at the same time. But in rare cases, depending on the mission, they could be. That's where a family care plan had to be in place, that if both were called to go to deploy, someone had to be able to take care of the kids. But is that fair to your children?
Exactly. Again, military deployment is hard enough on kids. Imagine if it's both parents gone. That's even worse.
And again, going back to it, these are parents that volunteered to be in the military
versus being forced.
So there is a risk that you assume when you do that, knowingly, because it's been an all-volunteer force since 1973. But, like I said, it is we understand, we don't necessarily like, but we understand the need for our men, our sons, to have to register for the selective service in the event there was a draft. And see, the registration for selective service has been in effect, I don't know, but maybe in the mid to late 70s, maybe right after the all-volunteer force was enacted. So even with the selective service, registering for the selective service, none of our sons have had to be drafted because a draft has not been instituted.
You want to see my hair and makeup?
Let me see your hair and makeup. But, you doing, I see you, girl. I see you. You cute.
And I'm going to have to go soon because I am really hungry.
Okay.
Really hungry.
But we understand it. We understand. We don't like it, but we understand it. Because again, since the selective registration for selective service has been in effect, there still hasn't been a draft. But we understand if it happened there. But I don't want to have to add I don't want my granddaughters, my nieces.
Daughter. Oh, sorry, you're talking about your other ones. I say don't include me. There ain't no multiple over here.
Yeah.
So there's one.
My niece, my nieces, I don't want that for them.
Yeah.
It's enough to know that my nephews would be.
And thankfully, most of them are old enough, but still.
Ryan's sons are not.
Oh, you sure right. Forgot about them.
So it's enough to know that at some point, my grandnephews are going to have to register. I don't want that for my daughters and granddaughters, my granddaughters, great granddaughters. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no one has come up. So I tell you what, like I said, we can call it short because, Mr. Randolph will be home soon, and I got to I always make sure our home is ready for when my husband comes home, because I want him to do nothing but relax. So I thank y'all for joining in, and share this content. Share this broadcast, because it's crazy. I'm telling you, I was flabbergasted. I was flabbergasted. Straight up, I was straight flabbergasted.
All right.
And if y'all haven't seen my video that I did last night, is there a place for older women in these YouTube streets? Check that out. Last night, I say, yeah, it is. So without further ado, thank y'all so much for joining us, and y'all have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful and safe weekend. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
So with that, we are out of here.
Peace out.